Hello and welcome. It is another Sunday, and that means that it is Scraplift Crafternoon day. And we've got a fun one today. First, let's get to introductions. If you are new here, I'm Karen. I'm the everything behind the channel here on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. We all go under the name of A Little Kinder, and we are glad that you found us. If you are returning, my friend, grab your favorite beverage, grab some supplies. We're going to make a layout together. So each week I get together with my scrappy tribe and we scrap lift the same layout. That means you're going to get all of these different personalities, all of these different takes on the same thing. Think it's fantastic. I'm glad you're here. This is our layout for the week. This is, y'all, especially when we start getting into July and August, the teacher nightmare comes back of names and mispronouncing names. But I want to say this is Joscrapenzo is how we're going to say this. And my apologies if I have said your name wrong. Again, it is my biggest nightmare from my years in the classroom is mispronouncing a name. But this layout is fantastic. I wanted to show you a way of recreating this layout where you are not taking on the full mixed media piece. Okay, let me tell you what I mean. So this entire beautiful background she made. It's all mixed media. It's gorgeous. Stamped pieces, some watercolory things, some splattery bits, and you may look at that and it may absolutely freeze you in your tracks. And I get that. I kind of want to demystify it a little bit, and we're going to talk about some products that are out there in the scrapbooking world that will make this much easier. So the other thing I am going to do is I'm going to have to shift because I'm using a pre-made and not a me-made. I'm going to shift. So everything's going to slide this way. Just wanted to let you know that up front. The layers in this, friends, look at this. We've got a layer of vellum here. We have this printed paper number 2, printed paper number 3, probably a 3x4 card of some kind, or printed paper number 4. So I'm really excited. I am going to be using, big surprise here, Disney pictures. Yeah, we're trying to get through them. We are doing Mickey and Minnie Mouse. This was Mickey and Minnie at Disney Hollywood Studios. If you hear me refer to it as MGM, yes, I am that old. I remember it being Disney MGM Studios. So, yeah, one of the two. Anyway, they are in the same meet and greet. They are not in the same room, but you meet Minnie first and then you go meet Sorcerer Mickey, which I think is fantastic. And I really liked these two little pictures. And so I thought these would be great to go along with this layout. Now, mixed media-ish. We are going to use some worn lipstick, distress ink, water, and then I'm going to pull in some distress spritz. This is the new stuff from Tim. Yeah, it's like he's my BFF. So Tim, instead of calling him by his full name, Mr. Holtz has released this spritz. And it is a mica that is encased in a clear liquid. Now, I know you're looking at it in these little bottles and you're thinking, there's color in there. Not really. When this dries, it dries shimmer that you can see, but it doesn't dry with this color base. It's not like a regular distress spray. Say that one 5 times fast. Where it's a colored. I am doing a horrible job at explaining this. I will tell you, Tim has a video on this and he does a better job than I do. But point being, this does not have color in it. The color you're seeing is from the mica that's been included. When you spray it and it dries, all you see is the mica. So I'm going to be using weathered wood and worn lipstick. Why? Why do I think I can come anywhere close to explaining this like the goat? I can't. So one thing you do have to do when you get these is mix them up. I like to lay them on their side. I know you saw when I first flipped it over that all the mica was kind of clung right here. It makes it so much easier to mix when they're that way. Now I will say they sit on my shelf like bottles should, you know, shelf, bottle. But when I get them out and I know I'm going to use them, I set them over on their side and they will dissipate, or the mica will dissipate over, and then it makes it very much easier to mix in that mica. Why do you want to mix the mica? So glad you asked. The reason you want to make sure the mica is mixed is so it doesn't get jammed in the straw. If all of your mica is hanging out down here at the bottom where your straw is, the straw is going to suck it up, and then you're going to have a big old mica straw mess. They do sell extra caps at Ranger. I think a lot of retailers have them too. Just don't. Just make sure you shake and that it's not just totally hanging out there at the bottom of the bottle. So we're going to use those. I'm also going to do a worn lipstick drip. And so I've got worn lipstick, regular distressed ink, water, and then we're going to use a paintbrush to do that. These are some of the goodies that we may use at the end. Some hearts, some sprinkles, that kind of thing. Collection. We've got the digital collections again. I am going to pull from these. I have lots of choices. Lots and lots of choices. But this is where I'm going. These are... This is Project Mouse. This is Project Mouse. I think these... Yeah, this one and the little black and white is Project Mouse. The rest of it is all Simple Stories, I think. I don't think these stars are Project Mouse. I'd have to go back and double check. But I have the Simple Stories digital collection. The tag is theirs. The stars are theirs. And then let's talk about the glorious background here. This is going to be our base. This is a Vicky Bouton mixed media pad. Pre-done mixed media pad from Discover and Create. I'm not sure how many of her collections have them. I want to say that there was one for Print Shop. I don't think there was one at Christmas. Maybe her Christmas collection is the only one that doesn't. But I love these because she has done a lot of the heavy lifting. Now, I do want to add some to this. My photos are very red, and then I have on the bright pink t-shirt. And then Minnie's dress is pink. So I thought we would add in warm lipstick, which is kind of a pinky red. And so it'll pick up on those pinks and the reds from this. Now what I want to do, and we will see how this works, we're going to smear some of this on to my glass mat. I'm going to add some water to it. I'm going to grab a paintbrush. And then what I want to do is kind of run some across in here and have it drip down. That's the goal. We're going to see what happens. All right. I am going to get ready and then we will work on this. Hang tight. All right, so we're going to get started by putting some of our distress ink down on our glass mat and adding water to it. This is a process where I'm going to create drips. This takes a lot of water. So you really want to make sure that the paper that you're using can stand up to the water. That's why I started with this Vicky Bouton foundation background. I did add some of the spritz into the top, but it just wasn't dripping. So I put it back on my mat, mixed it in with what was left from the worn lipstick distress ink. And then we really start getting some nice little drips. Clean that up because we're going to add some of the weathered wood. This weathered wood is beautiful. Now the tapping of my paper really allows those drips to like happen. It's like forcing gravity. And it's really kind of cool because in some of the places where it's splattered, it then creates kind of a drippy off of it. I did dry this with a heat tool because it was so very wet. Dried front and back. Now I'm just going to come in and we're going to start layering up some papers. I did decide during kind of this part of the process that I decided that I'm just not going to end up using that star paper. It's just not going to happen. I did not like how it worked. I didn't like how it layered. The rest of the papers are going to get the edges distressed. This is something that I like to do to create some texture between the layers. And we're just going to start layering these down. I do keep looking back at the original to see kind of how she had things layered, because that was one of the things that I really liked. And there I've decided no star paper. Going to add the tag in. We are going to go ahead and scuff up the edges of that tag. Again, that just helps create a visual break between the layers. It gives it a little bit of texture. The eye kind of likes that. You could also use a black pen, which, spoiler alert, I am going to come back and use here in a minute. Adding my photos, and then, I had mentioned that this was an all digital collection, so I am using some of the printed digital pieces. It's one of the things that I truly like about a digital collection is that I'm not having to use whatever size they created. Meaning, when you buy a paper collection, you're stuck with the size that you've got. These stars that I'm using were part of a 3x4 card, and I just enlarged it, and that enlarged the size of my stars. So now the stars are the size I want them, rather than them being teeny tiny off of, say, a 3x4 card. Just going to add these in, getting them placed around. Now I've realized I need that pen. So we are going to add some edges. I'm going to add a date. This one does not have a title, and I am okay with that. All right, here we go. Ooh, I want to add a black line there. So here we go. This is our finished lift. I loved how quickly this came together. And I love this fun mixed media that's going on behind this. That we added some of the Distress Spritz to. So the silvery blue is the Weathered Wood Distress Spritz. The pink is a mix of the Worn Lipstick Distress Spritz along with what we did with the actual ink pad. So that's why that is so pink. Some of the blue, you can see where, especially like around these little dots, where it pulls out and it kind of wicks away. That's because that fluid that's there has the pink in it. So I used the same paintbrush. I didn't care, but it gives us a little bit more of the pink that flumes, or not flumes, that bleeds out. So that's kind of a fun thing too, is to use your tools without cleaning them in between, because sometimes you get happy accidents. So here it is. Here is my lift. I am so excited at how this one turned out. Starting with this mixed media background from Vicki Boutin, it really sped up the process. I did not have to come in and add the pink spritzes or the blue spritzes, but I really wanted to pull out some of the pinks in my layout. I knew I had some reds in my paper, and since we were at MGM Hollywood, see, I told you I would do it at Disney Hollywood Studios, I really wanted to go with the stars as kind of one of my embellishments into this layout. So down below, all the things, links to the playlist, links to everyone who's playing along. You also have links to my favorite places to shop. They are affiliate links. Full disclosure, it does help me out here. There is no additional charge for you to use them, but they are there for your convenience. Also down there, you'll see a lot of my favorite places to post, and where I put my layouts and cards and things. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you have not already liked and subscribed, go ahead and do that now. It really, really means the world to every single content creator here on YouTube when you do those two simple things that cost you absolutely nothing. So my friends, until we're together next week, go make some memories. Bye-bye.